Good morning and welcome to February the 13th, 2023, the New York Times edition of the Hard Sudoku. There's a 6 blocking over here, and the 6 coming up here. So this is a 6. And do we have any other easy digits? Yeah, the 2 7s here, of course, puts a 7 up here. And we got a 3 coming down here and here, so that makes this a 3. And the 8 here now makes one of these an 8, and therefore nothing. The 8 comes over here and up. No, there's nothing to be had here. One of these is a 1, of course, because of the 1 blocking. This is a 3 because we got these 2 3s blocking across. So this is a 3. And one of these must be a 3 now. And one of these must be a 3. So we have a 1 and a 3 in 2 of these 3 squares. And we've got a 9 and a 6 in 2 of these 3 squares because we got a 9, 6 here and we got a 9, 6 here. So a 9 and a 6 will have to go in 2 of these squares here. And now this 8 blocks across. So this is an 8, making these a 2, 4, and a 5. And that gives me, I believe, a 2 here because we need to have a 1, 2, 4, 5, and an 8. 1, 2, 4, 5, and an 8 for this column. There's a 4, 5, and an 8 blocking here, and there's a ghost one up here blocking, so this is a 2. And now, now both of these are pairs, and they have to be 2 8 pairs. And we have a 2 here and an 8, and we have an 8 here and a 2 here. Yeah, here. Of course, because we got these 2s, right? So we got a 2 and an 8 pair up here, and this must be a 6 because it cannot be a 2 or an 8, and 6 is the third missing digit from this block here. One of these must be a 6 now. These 8s block these 5 squares, making this an 8. So we got a ghost 5 coming over here. We got a 5 coming down here and a 5 coming up here, so this is a 5. And therefore, one of these 2 must be a 5. A 2 now can't go here, and a 4 can't go here. So a 2 and a 4 will have to go down here. And we have a 2 and a 4 in the row, making these a 2 and a 4. The other 2 must be a 7 and a 1. This here must be a 7 or a 1, and this must be a 7 or a 1. And I can't see how to place them now. But it does tell me that one of these must be a 2, if for nothing else. So a 4 and a 5 here still leaves a 1, 6, 7, and a 9 for the row. 6, 9 here. This is a 1, 7. We discussed that. This is a 1, 6. So this is a 7, 9. Hmm. So two eights here. So 4, 6, and 7 for these three squares. This can't be a 4, so it must be a 6 or a 7, and a 4 will have to go over here, and therefore a 4 will have to go down here. But column 4 leaves a 1, 3, and a. We got a 5 here and a 5 here, so this is a 5. And this therefore cannot be a 3, it must be a 1, and this must be a 3, because we had the 3 blocking over here, right? So let's have a look across here again. We know that this is a 1, 7, and we know that we have a 1, 7 here, so blocking here. So this is a 1, 7 pair, and that would make this here a 9, wouldn't it? So we are still looking for a 6, 4, and an 8 for these squares here, and that will have to wait a second. But these are 1, 7 and 1, 7, and these are 2, 4 and 2, 4. We still need to find a 3, 6, and a 9. So the 9 must go down here somewhere, and the 3 as well. Yes, we got the 3, 9 here, and we got the 3, 9 here, and we got the 3, 9 here. This is so simple. And what was the last digit? It was a 6. It must go here. And now the 6 blocks up here and the 6 blocks down here, the 6 blocks across here, making this a 6. And because these two sixes now block all the way over here and the 6 blocks down here, this is a 6. I do remember that I said that it had to be a 6 or a 7, or maybe I didn't. Anyway, it is a 6. Across here, we need to find a 2, 8. It needs to go here, we know that. And we know that this can't be an 8, so one of these is an 8, and no, not a 2, 8. So we are not looking at a unique rectangle diddly pattern today, at least not yet. But we often do with the New York Times hard puzzles. So we know that one of these two cells had to be a 4, and we know now only have one cell, therefore the 4 must go here. And the 4 blocks over up here, and the 4 blocks over here, so one of these is a 4. We are getting a little closer now. In this column, we need to find a 1, 3, 7, and a 9. We know that this is a 3 or a 9. And we know that this can't be a 3, and the 3 blocks over here. So one of these is a 3. And one of these is a 9 now. What are the two others? There are 7, 1. So a 7 must go here or here because of the 7 blocking. And we need a 7 then for one of these three squares. So we know that these two are a 2, 8. Therefore, this must be a 7. These two 7s block up. This 7 blocks over. This is now a 7. One of these is a 7 now. 1, 4, 5, and an 8 across. We got 4, 5, and an 8 staring at this square. Therefore, this is a 1, and that makes this a 1. One of these now must be a 1. And these last three squares must be a 3, 5, and an 8. So I'm still not able to close the gaps in column 5. a 3, 7, 9 now for these squares here. No, not yet. But since we found the 6, and we know that the 6 must go here or here because we have 6's blocking here, that makes this a 6. And now we just need to find a 8 and a 4 for these squares here. We only have 4 gibbons now in row 5, but we can't have a 1 here because of this 1. We cannot have a 1 here because of this 1, and we cannot have a 1 here because of this 1. So we found a 1. And we know that this was a 1, 7, so that makes this a 7 and this a 1. And this must now be a 7. And therefore this is a 7. We are closing in on the solution, I think. A 9 and a 3 for these two squares. There's a 9 in the box, making this a 3, and this a 9 and this a 3, because we figured that out some time ago. This must be a 9. And that makes this a 9 now, because the 9 blocks over here as well as this 9, so this is a 9. And that gives us a 9 for the top row, like so. 4 and a 5, still elusive. Amazing. 1 and these are 4 and 8. There should be some kind of a logic that solves this. I'm just unwilling to spend time trying to figure it out. These have to be a 1, 4, and a 5. We got a 1 and a 5 in the column, making this a 4. This is now a 1 and a 5. An 8 and a 2 for these two squares. An 8 and a 2 for these two squares. This cannot be an 8 or a 2. But I know because of the 2 here that this square must be a 2. And that makes this a 4. And now this is a 4. So this cannot be a 2 because of the 2 here. Therefore, it must be an 8. And that makes this an 8 and this a 2. We still have the 2, 8 coming up here. This must be a 3. Now we're looking at an 8 and a 5 here. We got an 8 in the row, making this an 8 and this a 5. And here we have a 5 now, making this a 5 and this a 1 and this a 1, and this must be a 2. So the 5 blocks down here, making this a 4, and this must therefore be a 5. And now we have the 4 here and the 8 here, making this an 8 and this a 2. And we still need a 2 and a 4 for these two squares. This 2 blocks over here, making this a 4 and this a 2. It was quite a nice puzzle today, but in no way as difficult as the last 3 or 4 or 5 days. But it was enjoyable, at least for me. I hope for you as well. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.